If somebody asks a question.
Good morning, Minakshi ma'am. I think, could we just check your mic is on mute? Ma'am, your mic is on mute.
Is it okay now? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning. Welcome, ma'am. We'll just wait for the other participants to join.
Okay.
So right now we have 30.
How many participants do we have now?
Yes, we have 51 in all. So as of now, 38 participants have joined us.
Okay.
Yes, so we have 51. We've chosen 51 stories finally.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am. So how are you doing, ma'am?
So can we kind of start with the 38 participants? Let me at least know them.
Yes, you'd like an introduction, ma'am?
Yeah, I would like to have an introduction by the time the other participants join, so at least we can talk to each other, right?
Sure, ma'am, sure. So hello, children. Welcome. Good morning. And we're so glad to have you here. Congratulations, first of all, to all of you who've made it to the final list of 51 short story writers who are going to be published by Keekli. Well, we have on the panel today, Miss Minakshi Chaudhary, and she's a famed writer and author. She's a former journalist, and Miss Chaudhary has authored more than a dozen books. Exactly, ma'am, how many?
I have authored 21 books.
So ma'am has authored 21 books. So you have a whole lot of experience here, and ma'am is going to give you some wonderful tips today on story writing. Her popular books include Ghost Stories from Shimla Hills and more Ghost Stories from Shimla Hills, which I've also read. I've also read your, ma'am, a little memoir on dementia, and completely in love with your writing. And I would like to add this, that ma'am is a keen observer of people, cultures, lifestyles, and she loves trekking, and she loves to go on long walks. She was awarded the Okad Sahitya Honor Samman by the Governor of Himachal Pradesh in the year 2018. So ma'am, it is an honor to have you with us here, and including myself, I'm sure we'll have lots of things to learn from you today, lots of pearls of wisdom. So children, welcome to this session. Since ma'am would like a little introduction of each one of you, I would like you to, unmute yourselves when you tell us about yourself. We can start with Adhya.
Yes, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Adhya. Tell us about yourself.
Well, my name's Adhya Singhvi and I'm 9 years old.
Okay.
I live here in Shimla.
Okay.
And I love making stories, and I made tons of imaginative stories, and I always tell them to my dad when I'm going to sleep. So we are always
that's nice.
Mine.
So Adhya, आप ये कब से कर रहे हो? How long have you been doing this? Last 2 years, 3 years?
Ma'am, since I think I was 7 or 6 or 7 years, I've been doing it.
That's really nice, Adhya. One thing very important that you have just told every one of the participants is imagination.
Yes,
if you want to be a creative writer, you have to imagine stuff, you have to sit and you have to kind of expand your universe. हमारा जो universe होता है या जो हमारी दुनिया होती है या जो हमारा दायरा होता है वो छोटा होता है. आप एक छोटे घर में बैठे हो, बड़े घर में बैठे हो, कमरे में बैठे हो, लाइब्रेरी में बैठे हो. This is the way you make stories. This is the way you weave stories when you start imagining stuff. कि उसी लाइब्रेरी में क्या 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 हो रहा है. Maybe the books are talking to you, maybe almiras हिल रही हैं, maybe almiras खुल रही हैं, maybe suddenly a book gets converted into people or goblets or fairies. This is the power of imagination. इमेजिनेशन का जो पावर है वो बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग है और होना चाहिए फॉर क्रिएटिव राइटिंग, बिकॉज क्रिएटिव राइटिंग के लिए यू आर सिटिंग विद योरसेल्फ and you're just imagining the stuff around you. So this is one great thing that you have told everyone, all the participants here. So it's nice meeting you. So we'll next move to this next participant.
Yes, ma'am. I would like to now invite another Adya.
Okay, that's nice.
So Adya, can you please unmute yourself?
Hello.
Hello, Adya.
I hope you can hear me.
I can hear you, but I think I can't see you.
Ma'am, actually my camera is not working. I'm so sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. बताइए थोड़ा सा अपने बारे में.
Ma'am, my name is Adya Ghosh. I study in class 11th and I live in Shimla. And yes, ma'am.
Okay, you study in class 11th and you live in Shimla. And for how long have you been writing?
My mother has always been inspiring me to write. Ma'am, she told me to write diaries when I was small, and in journals in general, like every day. And during holidays, she told me to write travelogues, and so I got inspiration from there, and I wrote it. And during classes also, when in school times when we were instructed to write essays and everything, I always found joy in them. So yes, that's one of the reasons why I liked writing.
Okay, that's nice. Adya, just tell me one thing. When you write, are you disciplined in your writing? Do you have some specific timings for your writing?
No, ma'am, it's like when I want to write, when it comes from inside, it's just one flow, and then I just write it all. Ma'am, it's just once, then I get it, and then I can write it all.
Okay, thank you so much, Adya. So we'll move to the next participant.
Yes, ma'am. Before I move on to the next participant, I think children, ma'am is already in this introduction. She's giving us some valuable tips, like in the first one, ma'am, you elaborated on imagination, how it's an important aspect in writing. And I think right now, when you mentioned discipline, I'm sure you would have a lot of things to say about discipline when it comes to creative writing.
Yeah, that's right, Sonia. You really need to be very disciplined. आपने जिसने भी लिखना है, should we start with the session now? It's like formally on?
Yeah, ma'am, it's just formally on, whatever way you'd like to continue.
Okay, so we'll start with the session.
Right.
And मैं आपको कुछ चीजें बताऊंगी, but not as a teacher, but as a co-writer, because all of you are now writers. So you're now my colleagues. So I will be sharing some experiences जो मैंने अपने लिए जो मुझे काम आए हैं, and how I learned how to write. So there are 2-3 things that you really need to understand in the beginning. One is, what is creativity? Creativity होता क्या है? एक तो होता है ना कि creativity होता है, it is something which is, I think it's friendship with the mysteries of the world. मैं अपनी तरफ से बोल रही हूँ, or how I feel that creativity is. For me, creativity एक दोस्ती है. किसके साथ? Mystic, the mysteries in the world, things that we don't know, the unknown. So when I look at it at that, it gives me that zing in life. It gives me that spirit or that happiness in life. Oh my God, yes, this ऐसा हो सकता है. मैं अपने character को ऐसा कर सकती हूँ. Because I don't know about that character in that way. It's not a real character. I made it up. I may be knowing something about the circumstances through my experiences, but जो मेरा character है वो fictitious है. So this is how I go about it. And secondly, somehow I feel that ideas जो आते हैं writing के लिए, they're like magic. कभी-कभी मुझे ऐसे ideas आते हैं, it's like magical. Suddenly an idea will come to me. I'll just share an experience with you. अभी recently in April, आप सबको पता था COVID काफी खतरनाक तरीके से फैल चुका था. I was having a kind of panic attack. इतने लोगों को problems हो रही हैं, and what is going to happen, and इतने हमारे relatives are in Delhi and Bombay, and people general, it is not everywhere in the world. So I was having those panic attacks. So someone, advised me to read a book, The Mole. I don't know whether you've read it, The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. So when I read that book, and it kind of, apart from mere panic attack usne band kiye, it inspired me to write such kind of a book on basic existential questions. So this is what happens. When an idea comes, you have to pick it up. And I picked it up. And in just 1 week, I finished that book. I was like, even I was quite, I was feeling so good about myself. But the thing is that I have gone through so many ideas jo maine nahi pick kiye. I was working on a book, Uncaged. It's about women. It's about, the problems that women face. I worked on that book for about 6 months and then I left it. And then that idea disappeared. Whenever I pick up the notes, there's no spirit in that. So ye jo ideas aate hain, either you pick them up, don't linger with them. Otherwise they die. They go to someone else. Kisi aur ko wo same idea aa jayega and they will pick up that book. So when we are talking about creativity, we are talking about ideas, you have to think about it as if it is something very special with yourself. It's your secret. It's, I may use the word, it's a love affair, that no one knows about. It's something that, it is you and your creativity. And that is how it expands. Secondly, I'm not sure how many of you want to be professional writers, but मेरे लिए personally क्या हुआ था कि when you think about creativity and you link it with your profession, it gets a little difficult because a lot of burden, you put a lot of burden on your creativity. कि मुझे पैसे कमाने हैं, मुझे famous होना है, I want to be really, known in the world, I want to live on whatever I get from my royalties and the money that I get. Or you kind of look at big writers like maybe Arundhati Roy, and you look at Chetan Bhagat's, and you look at Shashi Tharoor's, and you even look at Kushwant Singh and all, and you feel कि वो पैसे कमा सकते हैं और हमारी day-to-day living में काम आएंगे, but ऐसा नहीं होता है. All these people, they have suffered to reach that place. So don't imitate other people. That is very important. See, imitation is not only good for writers as writers, but even in any other aspect. जब आप imitate करते हो, तो आप उसको बने हुए देखते हो. You see someone made up. You see an actress. Yeah. So if you look at Katrina, you see an actress. She's already Katrina, but you don't see the struggles behind Katrina and how she reached that place. So you have to be you first. Then in writing, I would say there are 4 or 5 things जो हर life में हर जगह होते हैं, but important are: 1, hard work. As I said, discipline, perseverance, lage raho. You have to just keep on doing it. I have published 21 books, but I've written more than 40 books. They have not yet been published, but main lagi rahi. I have these 19 books lying with me, which are not published, but I kept writing. I didn't wait for a publisher. So these are experiences that I'm sharing with you, so that when you keep on writing, you don't stop at one story. You don't stop at one novella. You don't stop at one novel. You keep on writing. Likh liya, rakh do. Next mein kaam karna shuru kar do. Don't just sit with it. Another experience that I would share with you is perfection. Everyone says perfect hona chahiye. I don't say that. I said complete hona chahiye. Many people, because of perfection, stop completing their work. Perfection is very subjective. Subjective means I'm trying to speak in a manner so that every one of you, I think you are 7 or 8 years se leke 21 years tak we have, Sonia, we have winners from 7 or 8
Yes,
to 21 years.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We have all
So I want the 7-year-old a winner also to understand what I'm saying. And of course, 21-year-old to samajh aayega. Isliye I'm trying to speak as simply as I can. जब मैं perfection की बात करती हूँ, तो देखो आप एक कहानी लेते हो, आप एक पेज लिखते हो, and बहुत बारी you have doubts. And I think every aspect life में एक balance होना चाहिए. आप overwhelmed भी नहीं होने चाहिए, overdo भी नहीं करना चाहिए, overconfident भी नहीं होना चाहिए, और under भी नहीं होना चाहिए. There has to be a balance. As writers, I have seen that many of them are always doubtful of their creativity. You don't need permission from anyone. Don't be afraid to write. Write what you want to write and keep it aside. And then slowly and slowly, when you're confident, show it to people, show it to maybe your mentors if they are available, your friends, your parents, they'll tell you stuff, they'll tell you ये story complete हुई है या नहीं हुई है. See, if you have doubt, तो आप लिखना बंद कर दोगे, ये अच्छा नहीं है, ये 4 लाइनें लिखी थी, कुछ दम नहीं बना. आपको तो पता नहीं कितनी हजारों लाखों लाइनें लिखनी है, तो दम कैसे बनेगा? And that is why I'm saying perfection. Perfection के ऊपर focus मत करना, completion पे focus करना. You pick up a story. I don't know what story you may pick up. You're sitting on the mall road and you pick up a story to write about a girl who ran away from Bombay and she decided that Shimla is a nice place to stay in. So she comes there, and then what happens to that girl? She's new to Shimla. She's from Maharashtra. She doesn't know much stuff about Shimla and Himachal. So what is her, how does she kind of, uska stay Shimla mein kaisa hai? So you write a story on that. अब एक तो है कि आप बिल्कुल परफेक्शन में जाओगे, आप बहुत सारी रिसर्च करोगे, आप लैंग्वेज की परफेक्शन करोगे, आप नरेटिव की परफेक्शन करोगे, आप कैरेक्टर की परफेक्शन करोगे, आप प्लॉट की परफेक्शन करोगे, एंड मे बी बाय दैट टाइम बहुत बारी ऐसा होता है यू लूज इंटरेस्ट, या वो आइडिया खत्म हो जाता है. थिंग्स लाइक मतलब इट हैज हैपेंड विद मी मेनी टाइम्स. नाउ व्हाट आई डू पर्सनली, I tell myself I have to write a story on this girl from Maharashtra. She has come to Shimla. What do I know about Shimla? मुझे research नहीं करनी. What do I know about Shimla? I know a lot about Shimla because I live in Shimla. I love Shimla. I've been here for so many years. And then I build up on that. And then I make a plot. In the sense, I tell myself the beginning, Maharashtra se aa gayi hai, middle, her journey in Shimla, and what happens to her? Does she go back to Maharashtra? Do her parents come to Shimla looking for her? Does something bad happen to her and she realizes that recklessness is not a good thing? Does something good happen to her and she realizes, wow, I'm brave? I tell myself that. I kind of chalk it out and then I know it. Okay, in 3 lines, my beginning, my middle, and my end. Now my next phase is I have to complete the story. So completion is very important. Again, this is my experience. Okay? Creativity आपकी लाइफ का horizon को expand कर देती है, जिंदगी बहुत बड़ी आ जाती है, बन जाती है. आप जहां बैठे हो, अभी आप मुझे देख रहे हो, you see me, my hands are moving around, you see my expression, and maybe one of you must be thinking we can build this character. You're just expanding your horizons. You're sitting there on your sofa, on your chair, on your bench, on your bed, and suddenly you see this character, Minakshi Chaudhary, and you feel वो कितना, see, look at it in this way, वो कितना narrow down और कितना conventional और कितना छोटा सा है कि आप अपने कमरे में बैठे हो, कुर्सी पे बैठे हो, and suddenly you see Minakshi Chaudhary or you see anyone there. You can see so many people here, and you realize है मुझे ये character रखना है. You're expanding your horizon. So this is what you have to do. Thirdly, as I said, डरना नहीं है. जिंदगी में तो वैसे ही नहीं डरना है, लेकिन बहुत बारी हम लिखते हुए डरते हैं, मैं अच्छा लिख पाऊंगी या नहीं, या लिख पाऊंगा या नहीं, मैं ठीक लिख रही हूँ या नहीं, कोई पढ़ेगा या नहीं, मेरे पास टाइम होगा या नहीं, मेरी स्टडीज हैं, तो do you think I should focus या नहीं? Don't be scared, because if you have such fears, you will not walk that one step forward. वो fears तुम्हें वहीं रोक देंगे. आपको अपनी पढ़ाई करनी है. You are in 11th standard. All of you are students from 8 years till 21 years. You have other priorities in life. But if you have to be creative, you have to suffer. What does suffer mean? Suffer means वो नहीं कि suffer करना है. Suffer means you have to give up something. You have to maybe give up your sleep. If you get up at 6, get up at 4. Write from 4 to 6. If you watch TV for 4 hours, cut it down to 2 hours. You have to take out time for that. वो आपको प्लेटर में टाइम नहीं मिलेगा कि मुझे राइटर बनना है. That this is very important thing that I also want to tell you is that आपका राइटर बनना या आपका क्रिएटिव बनना, the world doesn't owe you anything. बहुत बारी आप सुनते हो सबको बोलते हुए, मैंने इतना अच्छा लिखा किसी ने पढ़ा ही नहीं, उसका अच्छा हो गया. We don't owe you. If I write something, all of you don't owe me anything. It is my creativity. So don't have that kind of mindset कि लोगों ने नहीं पढ़ा, या I could not do it in that way because I could not kind of, लोगों को समझ नहीं आया. Once आप उसको लोगों के पास भेज देते हो, वो रिएक्शन आपके हाथ में नहीं है. Again, I'll tell you an anecdote. I suffered through a very fatal disease. I wrote a book on it. It was a very personal book. I wrote it for myself. And I write everything for myself. जो मुझे चीज exciting लगती है मैं लिखती हूँ. So I wrote that book for myself because I was in trouble, and I thought कि वो trouble थोड़ा कम हो जाएगा if I write about it. Because जब आप, when you are a writer, in the sense that, as I said, that I've written more than 45 books, published 23 हो गई हैं. अभी latest I've written a book on Spiti. It's just come out. अभी वो release नहीं हुई है. So I like writing. So मुझे लगा I'll complete it. All my problems will be solved if I write about it, and I'll become light-hearted about it. So मैंने वो किताब लिख ली. जब मैंने किताब लिख ली, तो a friend of mine said कि इसको हम छुपा देते हैं. You know, मेरा publisher है रूपा. So उन्होंने कहा कि we'll publish this book. So I was a little reluctant because मैंने personally किताब थी मेरी, but I said चलो छुपा देते हैं. मैंने छुपा दी. किताब आ गई. वो release होनी थी. The chief minister sir had to release the book. So before it was to be released, I just went through the book, and I suddenly realized कि मैंने अपनी पूरी जिंदगी सबको देखने के लिए मैंने कागज खोल दिए हैं. And I was not comfortable at that time. I still remember I cried the whole night. कि how will I face all these people? So my husband Rakesh, who is also my the best critic that I can have, he told me कि तूने वो अब भेज दी है. अब वो उनका reaction है. It is not your reaction. You have sent it to the world to read it. Let them decide. Why are you feeling bad about it now? I said, everyone will know my personal stuff. Everyone will know how I felt. Everyone will know how weak I am. Everyone will know what happened to me. Everyone will know why I cried. He said, you did it. Now it is their reaction. So वो लोग कैसे react करते हैं, वो तेरे ऊपर हावी नहीं होना चाहिए. Because whenever I thought about it, oh my God, my friend is going to read this and say, अच्छा ऐसा हुआ था इसके साथ, वो क्या सोचेगी मेरे बारे में? This is about 10 years back. So then I realized कि once this, when you, all of you have written stories, 51 stories. So now you should let go of those stories. Once they are published, lucky participants, now it is the reaction of the people who read it. It's not your reaction. You have done your work. So don't feel bad if someone comes and tells you, you know, and many people will. You'll get bad reviews also. Your class fellows will also say this to you. You know, out of those 51 stories, we liked 20 best. लेकिन तुम्हारी कहानी नहीं आएगी. So don't feel bad about it. You did your best and you did it in your way. और वैसे reactions बहुत आएंगे if you keep on writing, and you'll get bad reviews. I remember ghost stories. I think most of you must have read ghost stories. Have you? And you
Yes,
liked
ma'am.
it?
Yes,
And it
ma'am.
became a bestseller?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now I'll tell you about ghost stories. There is a newspaper, The Telegraph, Calcutta. मेरा जो पहला रिव्यू था ghost stories का Telegraph में, उसमें लिखा था कि ये राइटर को राइटर नहीं बनना चाहिए. She should sit at home and stop writing because she has written a very bad book. That was ghost stories. And I remember this was in 2003, or I don't remember, 2001 or something like that. And I said, मेरी तो किताब गई. उसने तो कहा, I'm not worth it. But see what happened to ghost stories. Rupa ki, if I'm not being this thing, I think first 20 books में आती हैं in India जो इतनी बिकती हैं. उसकी 19th या 20th reprint आ गया. But उस reviewer का मेरे बारे में क्या ख्याल था? And it was such a bad review. And that was the first review I got for ghost stories ki I should not write. I should sit at home and do whatever I'm doing and stop writing. I'm not worth as a writer. But look what ghost stories did. I've published 21 books, but I'm known for ghost stories. It's these two books, ghost stories and more ghost stories, मेरी सबसे ज़्यादा बिकती हैं. And sometimes I do get irritated. I tell people I've written other books too. But this is what happens in your life. It will keep on happening. So as I said, these are some stuff that I want to talk to you about. And I can go about it for a long time, but I would like to answer your questions and your queries and some things that you want to know about. And remember, you need to have courage. लिखने के लिए जिंदगी में अभी भी आप सब 51 लोग बैठे हैं. You should have the courage to ask me anything. Don't have doubts about your questions. If you don't expand your life, you lead a very small life. कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. आपको लगेगा मेरा क्वेश्चन सीरियस है, नहीं है, इंपॉर्टेंट है, नहीं है, पूछूं, नहीं पूछूं. Forget it. You don't need permission. Ask anything that you want to ask.
Right. Thank you,
So
ma'am.
should we
Thank you
start
so
with the
much.
question answer session?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. Before that, thank you so much, ma'am. I think, all wonderful things that you said. I just couldn't stop myself from cheering, in the middle of it. Were you talking about sunshine? When you were talking about your book on your personal experiences. So I've read about sunshine and it's on my TBR right now. So anyway, children, I think I won't take much time. And ma'am has given us some very, very valuable inputs about writing for those of you who want to take it up professionally, or even if you, want to have, there are writers who have day jobs also. So either way, if you love writing, I think it's just, you don't need a reason, or you don't have to find time for it. As ma'am said, just a disciplined routine. So all of you who have questions in mind, I would request you to, use the reactions logo on the screen and raise your hands. So I will just call out your name. You can unmute yourself and we can start off with your questions then. All right, so the first hand I see is Atharv Vats. Atharv, please unmute yourself and please tell us something about yourself and then ask your questions. Just tell us where you are from and what class.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Atharv Vats. I'm from Delhi and I'm 12 years old from class 8th. So, ma'am, the question that I have is I have a very hard time finding the right time I can't make a routine to write daily because I have homework, other stuff, my exams are coming. So it's pretty hard to find the right time to write. So what can I do about that?
Atharv, my advice to you is nothing is hard, nothing is impossible. As you said, you have your exams coming and you want to write and you don't get the time. My advice to you is sit with yourself and ask yourself, what do you do 12 hours? You get up at 6, you sleep at 9, 10, I don't know. Whatever you do, you have to do it yourself. It is your way. So you sit with yourself, you chalk out what you do, and you kind of find out how much time do you, waste, spend on stuff. Waste, I will say, the time that does not bring the gladness in your heart. That doesn't bring that kind of maza wali feeling, but you're just, getting up, thinking of getting up, mama bolenge breakfast khana hai, Atharv main abhi uthta hu, आधा घंटा इधर टहला, आधा घंटा उधर टहला, आधा घंटा कुर्सी पे बैठा रहा कि नहाना है, सोचता हूँ, नहाऊं कि नहाऊं. I'm sure you will get 1 hour or 1 or 2 hours out of the whole day. One. Secondly, your exams are important. Your study is important. You cannot kind of, you don't have an option for that. But maybe other stuff, maybe I don't know what you do. Maybe, see, you can't, this much I know that no one can study 16 hours in a day. You do other stuff. You may be watching TV, you may be reading, you may be sitting with your friends, you may be going out and playing. I don't know what you do. But if you are doing 16 hours of study, please don't do that. That's not a good thing to do. No. I think even if you're focused for 8 hours in a day in your studies, it's more than enough. But focus. Not that you have a book in your hand, you're looking here and there, you're thinking, I'll finish this chapter, and okay, now the lunchtime is going to come, let me wait for that, let me just scroll my phone. That is not focus. Focus is when you are really into your studies. So probably you have to sit with yourself and find your own way. You will get 2 hours. I'm sure about that.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. I hope, Atharv, your question is answered. In fact, that reminds me of a boy from Dharamshala who a couple of years ago, I interviewed him for Keekli only, and he was at that point of time the youngest author. And he told us that he would get ready, if the school bus was to come at 7:30, he would get ready at 6:30. And from 6:30 to 7:30, that 1 hour he would devote to his writing. So I think it's more about a schedule that you have, a kind of a fixed time for your writing will always help. So I hope that
Yes.
answers your question, Athar. We now move on to Ira. Ira, please unmute yourself. Tell us about yourself and ask the question.
Hello, ma'am. My name is Ira. I'm in grade 2. I'm 7 years old and I love reading. I have around more than 200 books.
Oh, wow, Ira. This is good. You made my day.
Yeah, thank you. And I actually haven't wrote any book, but I wrote this story. I wrote my grade 1 reading school writing competition.
Okay.
And I
This
have a
is very
question,
nice.
if you don't mind me asking. She had written this story that we sent to Keekli for her school competition in grade 1. And I did help her in editing a little bit, but she's not happy when I edit her stories and all. It does need a little bit of editing because she's too young. How can I wanted tips from you as a parent. How can I help her in all that? Because
What is your name, Ira? Ira's mother, what is your name?
Seema. My name is Seema.
Seema.
Yeah.
Okay. Seema, what you can do is that you can inspire her to just keep on writing. You can inspire her to keep reading. And probably you can, kind of work on her English because she's very young. She's just 7. Apart from her English, you can work on her a plot. The plots that she wants to work on, or maybe you want to tell her and advise her on that, and you can make a booklet of it. So I would advise you to sit with Ira and chalk out about 15 to 20 themes or story plots, small ones, according to her age. It can be related to seasons in Shimla, 5 stories from there. It can be related to different localities or
based in Mumbai. And she does makes up her own plot and all, but this story she wrote down because it was school competition, and I just sent it and it got selected. One of my friends,
so she's good. That means Seema, she's good. If it got selected, she's good. So one is that as you live in Bombay, as you're saying, you can just help her grow actually. You can sit, as I said, you can chalk out some 20 stories that she would like to write on. And then you can tell her, you can schedule a timing for her with her favorite stuff around. Maybe, I don't know what she eats, hot chocolate and good, something, whatever she loves, so that she's comfortable and she's cozy in that environment. She's just 7, and then after she has written that, you don't need to edit it yet. I feel she's too young. What you need to do is you need to, kind of fan her imagination, her creativity, and expand it. And then maybe after a year or so, if she's written about 20, 25 stories, and then you can go in for a professional editor who can sit with Ira. So what she needs to do and how she needs her stories to be, because, usually writers, I don't know, Ira is too young, but usually writers apni stories ko bahut, jisko bolte hain, dil ke paas rakhte hain. So if an editor changes Ira's story, she may feel bad about it. But if she's writing at the age of 7, give her that time, give her that 1 year that she comes out with about 25, 30 stories. And then, you can work with them.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Anyways,
Thank you.
Congratulations. Lovely,
Thank you.
Sorry, ma'am.
I said, congratulations. This is such good and inspiring for everyone, I think, around here.
Thank you. She loves reading from a very young age. Actually, I've used up all the space for her books. Now I've moved on to online reading, Storyweaver and all. She's eating up books there also. I don't know where to get so many books from. Even
No,
money.
that's very good. Yeah, but then that's very good, Seema. That's very good.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Ira. Thank you, Seema. I think such a model parent. So we can all, get inspired from you. Next is Riya Malhotra.
Hello.
Riya, please unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you, Ria.
Okay. So my name is Ria and I'm currently living in Bangalore, and I love reading, and I'm 13 years old and I study in grade 8. So the story I sent in was the first one I actually wrote, and I got inspired by a book I read by Sudha Murthy. And so since then I've loved writing and fictional writing. So sometimes I don't get what to write. So how can I get inspiration on what to write? So that's what I want to ask.
Okay. Ria, what to write? Usually what happens is what you know about. You know, as you're talking about inspiration, one, what you know about. As you stay in Bangalore, you must be knowing about stuff about Bangalore. You may be knowing about your culture, your family, the people, your classmates. Then what you love to write about. It's a combination. It's that magical combination. What you know about something and what you love doing. You may be knowing something about Bangalore as a city, but you don't like city life. So that will not inspire you. But you may be knowing something about the plants around your house and you love nature. So that may inspire you. So it has to have a balance of what you love presently and what you know. And sometimes what happens is that one step further, if you love writing fairy tales, for example, so then you need to read about them a lot. So you should have a combination of reading more stuff that you love, writing on what you love, and also knowing something about it. So if it is that balance between these three things, you'll be able to be inspired to write the next.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, ma'am, once again. And we move on to Shubhan Day. Shubhan, please unmute yourself. And I would like to, ma'am, say that, we can take up a few more questions because we have about 11 minutes with us. So we'll just take up a few more questions. Shubhan, please.
I'm Shubhan Day from class 6A. I'm 10 years old and I live in Bombay. I study in Kendriya Vidyalaya IIT Powai. So my question is that when I write a book, then if I want to publish it, then whom should I contact? Like, shall I contact the manager of a magazine or something? And what publishers would publish my books, like beginner stories that I write?
Okay. Shubhan, what you need to do is you need to sit with the book, a booklet, a copy, and write out what are you writing on. Usually publishers, there are different publishers who publish different kind of books. Like we have Hay House. Hay House publishes inspiring motivational books, motivational stories, more on the spiritual angle. Then we have Penguin. Penguin publishes more classical stuff. Then we have Rupa. Rupa publishes fiction and also non-fiction. So what Shubhan you need to do is what kind of stories do you write? One, that is a question that you need to ask yourself. Is it for children? Yeah, tell me.
Ma'am, I sometimes write fictional stories like the one I published this time and the Keekli and the one I sent to Keekli, and then sometimes I write non-fictional ones like story of a boy and some animal stories like that.
Okay, so Shubhan, you need to make a kind of a chart and first say, is it fiction? Is it non-fiction? Then you need to go down and say, it is a long story, it is a novella, it is a novel, it's a short story. Then you need to move down. Who is my audience? Is it 6 to 20-year-old people or 8 to 10-year-old people or general audience? Then you move down. You need to chalk out everything about this. And then you need to go on the net and find those publishers. Like if you're writing for children, then you need to, go on Google, find publishers who are publishing children books or children's stories. If you are talking about stories, a single story, it's not a book. So you need to write it for a children magazine. So when you go there, you need to open those magazines, then you need to write a good letter to them and tell them how you need to sell your story or your novel. So you need to tell them what is it about in just a couple of lines. That's simple. And you don't need to send your story or your novel to them, but you just need to send them a kind of a query. Are you interested in this? So they'll get back to you in 3 months, 6 months. You need to be very patient, Shubhan. And if you are not, you feel, no, I want to do it now, then you have another option. You can publish it online It's free. You can go to Amazon, you can go to Kindle, you can publish it there. Again, if you don't find that option very exciting, you can publish it with not traditional publishers. See, there's a difference between the traditional publishers and the non-traditional publishers. The traditional publishers are those like Penguin and Rupa and Random and Bloomsburg. They're all traditional because they bring out those that the copy in a hard copy manner. So they publish about 1,000 books and then they sell it. But non-traditional publishers like you have these Shakespeare, you have Notion on internet. They will just publish it. If you order the book, then only they will publish it. So that's another simple way. You need to pay them some money, about 20,000 to 25,000 for a book, which they will edit themselves, and then they'll put it online. So there are different sites. You know more about net and its uses. So they'll put it on different sites. You can tell your friends, my book is available on Amazon, on Flipkart, on other sites, and then you can buy it. So you have three options. One is free publication, second is traditional publication, third is this online. They will kind of, if you order a copy, then they'll make the hard copy and send it to the whoever the client is. So these are the three things that you can do. But again, Shubhan, I would advise that you should keep on writing more, keep on writing. And in the beginning, show these stories to someone who reads and then take their critical comments. Don't be in a hurry to publish. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, Shubhan, I hope that answers your question. Ishan, would you quickly come up with yours?
My name is Ishan. I'm 12 years old from Kerala. My question is, when I sit down to write about one idea, I get another idea, and I get confused between those two. So what to do about it?
Ishan, for that, you need to work on yourself. You need to focus. You can't be jumping from one idea to the other idea to the third idea. You need to ask yourself which idea is better. And you can't be, it's something like this that you sit with a chemistry book and now you want to study botany. And then you want to study mathematics. Can you do that? You can't.
No.
You can't. You have a chemistry book in front of you. So when you choose an idea, it can be any idea. It can be one idea that you like. Focus on that idea. Until and unless after some time, maybe 10 days, maybe a month, you realize, no, it's not good. I'll go on and go to the other idea. You can't be just sitting and taking out 4 ideas and juggling them around. You can't do that. You need to tell yourself that I need to focus on this. I can't be escaping or running away from it. You know why one reason can be that you keep on shifting your ideas is because you don't have the courage to sit with that idea and work on it, because you have doubts about it. You feel, no, it's not a good one. I think the other one is a good one. Ishan, you have to have courage to sit with one idea, think about it, balance it out, find ways that you can, work on it. And then maybe later, if you realize, no, it's not a good one, then you can, move on to the other idea. But you can't be just playing around with ideas. As I said, you have to complete a thing. If you pick up something and you don't complete it, it's sheer wastage. Can you just explain this to me? How do you go about changing your ideas? I mean, that's quite interesting for me to understand. Can you just explain this to me? How do you pick one idea and then you pick the other idea, just sitting at one place?
Yes, ma'am. First, for Keekli, I wrote more mystery stories, and if I start writing, if I had one idea, I planned it, and when I start writing, I get another details of that same idea, and I get confused what to do and what to write.
Okay, so that means that means the story is the same, but how do you move around? The story changes, right?
Yes.
Right? Yeah,
Yes,
sometimes you feel that you're going to kill this character and sometimes you feel you're not going to kill this character, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what you need to do with that means the story is the same. The story is the same. It is the inside part, the middle part that you get confused in. So for that, Ishan, what you need to do is that you need to write the synopsis of your story first. You don't need to just pick up your story and start writing. You need to sit and ask yourself, how will my story move? How will I weave my story in the whole pattern? So you need to write the synopsis. By synopsis, I mean you need to write about 30, 40, 50, 20 points. That my character, Ishan, the boy of, I'm writing about Ishan. Ishan lives somewhere in Coimbatore, and there's a mystery there. He goes and visits his grandmother. Now, suddenly, as you are telling me, if I'm right, you are saying that sometimes you feel, no, not grandmother. I'll make him go and live at his mamu's place, or, his ancestral house. So you have to sit down and make it clear. You want grandmother or you want ancestral house? You want Coimbatore or you want some other place? Sit down, write those 20, 25 main points and then work with them. And then don't allow other things to confuse you. So write a synopsis beforehand. That's about 20, 30 points that you should write, and then you should work on them. I'm going to do it this way. And then before you write the synopsis, you kind of play with the idea, play with it, which is better. Is it this? Is this mystery better, the way I solve it? Or is it the other way that I need to solve it? And once you have made that, then you stick to it. And then maybe next time when you write another mystery, you can add the stuff that you were thinking about, that I could do it in this way too.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. There are lots and lots of hands already up, and I think the session is just beginning to warm up, but we are short of time. So I would just request you to give us a closing note, and maybe we'll figure out something with this, children writing back to us, sending in their questions, which we can somehow try to answer. So we try to find a way out for this, and we'll reach out to these children in the WhatsApp chat. I think they just begun to enjoy the session, and I myself was so engrossed. Any closing note, ma'am, you'd like to add?
I would first like to congratulate all of you. I'm so proud of you. And I'm so inspired by you. 7-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old. And another thing that I would like to say is that you, apart from the work that you have done, you are so lucky and blessed that your stories are going to be published. I was 28 when my first book was going to be published. So celebrate this feeling, enjoy this feeling, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you on behalf of Keekli and on behalf of all our young writers. And we will reach out to the children for your questions, and then we'll figure out how we can, get to Minakshi ma'am so that she can answer those questions. Thank you for being here, everyone, and wish you all have a good day. And we'll see you in the next session. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye. Wishing you all the best. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Nice day.
Have a pleasant day ahead, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.